and Children First by Douglas Phillips. The North Atlantic ice fields are perilous and rough, and only should be tested by those of some sterner stuff. They're filled with fearful hazards for nautical machines, icebergs that look like mountains with jagged peaks and meaning. But on this eve in 1912, a monarch of her seas traversed the waves with brazen strides amid a night of glee. Unsinkable, they called her. Yes, unsinkable, their claim. But pride, not strain, would give this ship a destiny of fame. Nearly 100,000 tons, the largest ship at sea, a mighty maiden of the waves, in length, 883. A monument to science? No, a legacy of pride, a testimonial to those who needlessly would die. As children's heads lay nestled snug and warm through midnight hours, and husbands huddled next to wives, asleep in love's sweet powers, in upper decks men smoked and sang and toasted with a drink, not knowing that the virgin ship would soon begin to sink. First rang the bells, then came the cries, at last the dreaded panic. Then all knew 'twould be the end of R.M.S. Titanic. But in that hour of foul despair and fear unmitigated, a manly Christian cry to all was quickly circulated. Women and children first, they cried. Women and children first. To save our souls, we must give our lives. Women and children first. Amidst the turmoil and toil of lives then gripped by fear, a holy calm prevailed amongst those whose hearts and minds were clear. The cause was right, the mission pure, the path uncompromised. The men must die, that others live. The men must give their lives. Women and children first, the cry. Women and children first. Some must live while others die. Women and children first. No greater love hath any man than he lay down his life for family, for little ones, for dearest bride and wife. What manly breast would shirk the call or fail any breath to give his life for womankind, a sacrifice of death? As water surged upon the deck and chaos reigned supreme, the band played on sweet hymns of God, the crying, the screams. Some raised their hands while others genuflected in fleeting hopes that lives and dreams might still be resurrected. Across the deck, 1,000 scenes of lives held in the balances, with prayers delivered unto God in heavenly reliance. As strokers, stewards, officers, and gentlemen in mass, all lift women into boats without regard to class. Women and children first, the law. Women and children first. The men would act, no fight, no flaw, for women and children first. One faithful father searched the deck to find his family, and rushing forward, grabbed a girl, near tossed into the sea. And although this little golden hair was to the man a stranger, he strapped to her his own life vest to save the babe from danger. At last he saw the face he loved and pulled her from the throng, along with tender tiny ones, who thought him bold and strong. A little boy, a little girl, the world he held so dear, were waiting ignorant that time would bring their darkest fear. Women and children first, praise God. Women and children first. This principle we ever laud. Women and children first. 5 minutes he had to say goodbye. 5 minutes, then all was lost. But giving his life for the woman he loved was hardly a weighty cost. To the boats, my dear, said he. To the boats, and his words did race. Then lowering them into those cradles of life, he paused. Just one more embrace. And now he kissed those tender lips, and now he squeezed those hands. And now he hugged and spoke the last of love and wedding bands. Be brave, my love. Be brave, my son. Be brave, my little dears. God's ways are just. Christ rules above, and faith must hush our fears. and children first, said he. Women and children first. To be a man, I must set you free. Women and children first. At last he said goodbye, the eyes that longed for him and home. At last he watched them pull away to safety through the foam. In moments he'd be submerged in neath the icy brine, content to know that his sacrifice had given them more time. Just yards away, a mother gazed back at the sinking boat, her children huddled in her arms, warmed by their mother's coat. A prayer of hope upon her lips, a Bible in her hand, a testimony of love, of faith, and of her husband's stand. Women and children first, she wept. Women and children first. Stroking the curls of the infant she kept. Women and children first. Into the liquid tomb he plunged, moments from paradise. With one last grasp he clawed the waves and caught his dear one's eyes. His frozen face, his numbed hands, his body stiff and cold. An ocean legacy of heroism told. Down to the depths the Titanic sank, bound by such forces that God had decreed would render the hulk its slave. Downward she plunged through darkness so cold, taking no inventory of perishing hundreds who crowded her decks, bound for hell or glory. For women and children first they died, for women and children first. They put their faith before their pride, for women and children first. Thank you.